plastic. You will only use egg yolks. But here I use a mixture of whole eggs, egg yolks. I would just use whole eggs as well. So when I was in the industry, I would say to my staff, go to the fridge, see what we have. We need to make buttercream for the buffet, right? Do we have tons of egg yolks? Do we have tons of egg white? Oh, we don't have any. Oh, we don't have any. Let's use whole eggs, right? Of course, your ratio changes a little bit, but this is one way sometimes we can adjust in the hotel industry. Okay, I have tons of egg whites. I'll make Italian buttercream. I have so much egg yolk. Okay. Now, sugar, water. Yeah. Water. We're going to use a small pan. So if you look at the ratio of water to sugar, what do you think it is?
3 to 1.
Yeah, 3 to 1. 25, 30% water, right? So when you're making a syrup, that's what I do. When I'm making a syrup for buttercream, that I need to cook at 118, 120, depending on the altitude. If there's no water in the recipe, I know that I'm going to need to have at least 25 to 30% water. Okay? What happens if you have more than 30%? If you have 40, 50% water? What happens when you cook your sugar syrup? Water evaporates, right? It's only going to take longer. That's it. However, if you have way too little water, what would happen?
The burn.
Before that.
It's going to caramelize too fast.
Before that. Yeah, there's not enough water to dissolve your sugar crystals. So when you start boiling, so yeah, you have a syrup, but you start boiling and you have crystals in there. They don't necessarily dissolve right away, so this could crystallize everything. If it crystallizes, all right. Now, this amount is a very, very small amount, right? So I know from experience, in these guys, it's very difficult because you know when you pour your sugar syrup, it tends to hit the beater, right? If you have lots of eggs, then the eggs are up, you're good. But with these guys, it's very difficult to have the syrup in the eggs. It ends up quite a bit on the edge. So I'm going to do it by hand to start with. Syrup. Right, let me go with the donut here. This is my version 10 seconds. I don't want my eggs to be cold long. Just want them to be nice, even lukewarm. Butter at room temperature. Flavoring. Thank you. Is my omelet ready? If I was to double, triple the recipe, I would do everything here. But especially on your mixers, I like to start it by hand. So what does it say there for temperature? 118. What do you think the boiling temperature is for water here in Gâteau?
90 something.
Yeah, 97. We're 3 degrees because we're in altitude, we're not at sea level, right? So at sea level on north, 100 degrees over here. So 118 is good for us. At sea level, you could go at 122, no problem. Okay? What happens is Jonathan is distracting me as usual. And I take a reading and I'm at 125, 126. What do?
Cry.
No, give him shit. What do?
Add more water.
Yeah. So what's the difference between 120 and 126? Water evaporation. We agree on that? So what can I do then?
Water.
Yeah, a little bit more water, right? You don't have to eyeball it, obviously. Don't add 3 grams, right? Add a little bit, stir it gently. Not vigorously because you're going to crystallize it. Add a little bit of water. you'll see your temperature will drop, maybe 118, 117, and then it'll start swelling back up. And there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. My fancy book. All right, so let's take a reading here. Again, you don't want the eggs cold on. When the syrup hits the eggs, let them firm up. I'm already going to do before. Small quantity, you know, it cooks exponentially, right? As it gets higher in temperature, it gets faster and faster. For a few seconds. You don't want the bubbles in your sugar. When it's bubbly and you pour in your mixer, you're sure you're gonna hit the walls of the mixer. Just put it on a cloth, never directly on the table. That's why you end up with circles all over your table. Caramel. All right. So we know that heat pasteurizes your eggs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we'll let the mixer do the work. So see, I have no sugar whatsoever on my edges. So now the sugar that was in there is in the eggs, not on the whisk or on the walls of the mixer. Okay. Okay. I've divided my sugar syrup in 3 equal portions. So see, your preparation is getting lighter in texture and color. What's the name of this preparation here?
Crème anglaise.
No, crème anglaise would have milk, or maybe a mixture of cream, decent yolks, and sugar.
Syrup and sugar.
Cooked sugar syrup. Called the pâte à bon.
Oh, put that on.
Bon paste. Okay, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Pâte à bon. This is the base you can use for what? Buttercream? Mousses? Chocolate mousses? If you look in your recipe file, it's a pâte à bon ingredient for chocolate mousse. Right? When do I have my butter?
Now?
Now, yeah. Temperature wise.
When the mixture cool down.
Yeah, you shouldn't let me make it. Now, you need to adjust, right? If your butter is very cold, therefore your pâte à bone can be slightly warm. However, if your butter is really, really soft, make sure the pâte à bone is cool, right? Always make sure. Have you ever heard of chocolate glacé? The preparation is part of the frozen dessert category. You use it by the moment ago. Man, we say, you board an airplane, don't talk about pâte à bone, huh?
No.
Oh,
Yep.
some people say, you need to whip the butter separately. To me, it works. To me, it works. This is what I'm saying. So it's split a little bit, right, as you know. Need splitting. Now it's starting to bind back. And there you go, my buttercream's ready, right? No, it's not. While this is getting mixed, I have my sponge. 14, 14, 14. As per the diagram there, the recipe 5. I'm going to cut through the paper. Leave the paper attached. Why?
So it holds the shape, it holds the cake together. It holds everything together.
Exactly. We're working with a small sheet of sponge. If you're using full sheets of sponge, make sure you leave the paper. So this way you can take the sheet, flip it upside down, and peel the paper. It holds everything. Okay? Bada bing, bada boom. three equal portions. Enough what yet? Split the edges of my bowl.
Not ready yet? Not ready yet?
No, a little bit more. You really want to get it nice and smooth and aerated.
Yeah.
Not too aerated, of course, but. And when you aerate it a little bit, the color that gets lighter in color, of course, but the flavor intensifies because you have on your tongue you have tiny little microscopic air bubbles that enable for the flavor to develop. Right? We all know fat is a good flavor conductor. Okay. While this is mixing, I'm going to take one piece of my sponge. If you look in your diagram, where's the color? Scale next to it. You need 60 grams. Let's go to the diagram here. Dark chocolate pudding, chablonnage, 60 grams. Why do I put a thin layer of chocolate here, in your opinion?
So it doesn't absorb the moisture from.
Yeah, it holds the moisture in the cake. This is going to be the bottom of your cake, right? Also, it will have texture. Right? You have a little, not crunch, but yeah, kind of crunch at the bottom of your cake. We'll let that set. Finish this. Now you notice we have 140 grams of buttercream on top, but we also have 240 inside. Look at the color difference. Lighter. This is when it first came together. We mixed it a little further up. It's a bit lighter in color and lighter in texture. Okay.
Is it ready now?
Now it's ready. Yes.
Oh,
140 and 240. We're going to have a little bit left. We'll keep it for tomorrow.
Mm.
140, 240. Left over. But we need a little bit on top of the Opéra tomorrow to set our garnish, okay? It's just that making even a smaller quantity than this becomes a little bit too little. Let's put it that way. Okay. Okay. So, my chevronnage is set. Now I'm going to peel the paper. I'll show you, if your paper is, if your sponge sticks too much to your paper, I'll give you a tube. 110 grams of syrup. Let's brush. Now, if you're making full slabs, you're going to use a pastry brush. No, you're going to use this. Shower. We call this a punching bubble. To punch your cake. This is very French. Right? And you just go. And I had my shop years ago when I was your age, perhaps a little bit older. Every Tuesday, we would make 3 full slabs. So I would do, when I had a big marble, I would line everything up on big boards. 1, 2, 3, and I would just go. And on Friday, we made another 2. Full slabs. Now, did you guys, or here, you can just get a regular marble, get a cap, and puncture it with little, that's what I did. This used to be a bottle cap from the coffee extract. The thinking bar. See how light they are?
Mm-hmm.
Very convenient to move. Any of you had problems with extra cone?
Like today?
Yeah?
I don't know yet. Mine was very regular.
It should be nice and soft. And if you use a sponge, it's fine. You should be able to soak it all up with 110 grams. All the way to the edges. I'm just dabbing my sponge. Oh. That's a lot of syrup. What do you think the shelf life of a cake like this is? Let's say you have a shop, put this in the showcase. What's your shelf life?
4 days.
Yeah, yeah. Depending on the moisture content of your showcase as well, right? What's going to happen? The cake will be good, but the glaze is going to start to get moisture development on it.
Okay.
But this will keep for a week, no problem. It seems like every time we do a demo, I think it's worse than E4. Hey?
It's also nice when the fans are not your mouth and you can actually hear.
So I go back and forth, work it in.
What?
We used to actually put a little bit more syrup because normally when you see an opera cake, you shouldn't see unsoaked portion of your sponge. The whole sponge should be fully soaked, fully saturated with coffee syrup. Okay? And that's why if you look here at the this one from Gâteau.
There you go.
See? Sponge is quite heavily soaked. If you go to Yann Pat, anyone knows Yann Fine Patisserie?
Oui.
Here in Calgary? Yann's going to tell you, if it's not fully soaked, it doesn't work. Okay? We used to add more syrup, but we kind of ran into some problems sometimes. If your sponge was not quite done properly, it would not soak it up. Okay. Work it in. And done. Just so it looks a bit smoother. There you go. Like 240 first, right? Like per the diagram, right? Let's bring it back up. Just so you guys can see that. So I got my coating. I got my Jacon, first layer of Jacon soaked with coffee syrup. Coffee buttercream, 240. Hey, come back, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you. I use a piping bag. Piping bag holder, you can buy one or you can make yourself one. So the skills we're looking here is layering. It's part of the skills we're looking for. Emulsion as well, a good emulsion in your buttercream, good emulsion in your ganache, and a good emulsion in your sponge. Okay. going to cut a small opening here. You could just simply use your spatula, put all your buttercream, and then spread it with the spatula, right? Offset the cheese. But I like it by this. It's a bit small. Don't lose these. Very easy to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing you want is sell a piece of opera cake with plastic in it, right? Well, it shows it's made by hand, right? All right. So I'm going to go all around. Okay. Careful, corners always tend to be down a little bit, so don't neglect your corners. Huh? There. See there? Use my colors knife to spread. My buttercream. Now here, if we go over the edges a little bit, that's okay. Because once the cake is assembled and glazed, then we trim the edges. Okay, so don't worry too much about the edges. Don't push everything off the edges. Of course. Again, just trying to spread it as evenly as possible. To use 2 pellets. Okay. So we're going to remove about a ½ inch on both sides tomorrow. Okay? Don't neglect those corners. The middle one, which is the perfectly rectangle one, I'm going to keep at the top. Place this one down. I'm going to press it gently to make sure they fuse together. Huh? Don't put too much pressure because otherwise. Alright. If for some reason you have a sponge that's very sticky to your paper, sometimes Swiss roll, you made Swiss roll last year perhaps, right?
Mm-hmm.
They tend to be a bit sticky on your paper, especially if they're a bit underbaked. So what you do, you press down and you pull it.
Wow.
This way it does not stick to your paper. Okay. So same process now with the other syrup. I pulled the ganache there, you saw that. Right, if you feel the ganache is a little bit too cold, it should be similar texture. Okay. And the ganache being heavy, I'll need a slightly thinner layer. As you probably imagine, because it's not there rated like the butter. So I'm going to repeat that. Syrup, I'll do the same thing with the ganache. out of the sponge, syrup, and then I will finish the top with 140 grams of buttercream, which is right here. You make it nice and smooth. You've done that before, right? Smooth the top. I'll give you a little trick at the end, okay? Once your cake is assembled, I'll call you guys and say, guys, come around here. I want to show you how I finish. Okay? Let's do that.